Your future self is not some far-off fantasy version of you. It's not a stranger you'll meet one day by accident. It's already out there, shaped by the choices you make today, the habits you repeat, the battles you fight, and the moments you refuse to quit. Every single action you take or fail to take is either building that version of you into someone you'll be proud of or someone you'll regret becoming. And that's the truth most people never stop to face. The future you is not waiting for things to get better or for the right time to magically appear. They're waiting for you to show up now. They're waiting for you to make decisions today that protect them, strengthen them, and prepare them for a life they can live without shame or regret. So let's talk about this future self because they are more real than you realize. Imagine meeting yourself 5 years from now. Will they thank you for the discipline you built, the boundaries you set, the investments you made, the risks you took? Or will they stare back at you with disappointment, wondering why you wasted the one life you had making excuses instead of making progress? That's the reality. Every late night you spend grinding instead of scrolling, every workout you show up for instead of skipping, every uncomfortable conversation you have instead of avoiding, every skill you learn instead of ignoring. These are deposits in the bank account of your future life. And one day, that balance will be all you have to live on. But here's the problem. Most people live like their future self doesn't exist. They think only about today's cravings, today's comfort, today's distractions. And every time they choose short-term pleasure over long-term gain, they rob their future self blind. They think they're just relaxing, but in reality, they're sending the bill to their older self to pay. And trust me, your future self will have to pay for every workout you didn't do, every dollar you wasted, every opportunity you ignored, every risk you were too afraid to take. You will either suffer the pain of discipline today or the pain of regret tomorrow. And the worst part about regret, you can't undo it. Now, I'm not saying you need to be perfect, far from it, but you need to become intentional. You need to wake up each day and ask yourself, what does my future self need from me right now? Maybe it's the discipline to stick to your workout. Maybe it's the courage to finally start that business. Maybe it's the wisdom to walk away from toxic people who drain your energy. Or maybe it's the humility to admit you've been slacking and it's time to get back on track. Whatever it is, your future self is counting on you. And here's the thing. If you ignore them now, you'll meet them later in a place you don't want to be. I want you to think about the version of yourself you dream of being, not just in appearance or success, but in strength, character, and peace of mind. That version of you is not built by chance. They're built brick by the habits you keep and the values you live by today. If you want to be strong later, you train now. If you want to be financially free later, you sacrifice now. If you want to have healthy relationships later, you communicate and work on yourself now. There is no magic moment when it all comes together. It comes together because you kept showing up when it was easier not to. Here's the truth most people can't handle. You will not rise to the level of your dreams. You will fall to the level of your habits. Your future self will not be better unless your daily actions get better. Wishing, hoping, and manifesting without work is just a fantasy. The only way to earn a future worth living is to plant the seeds now and water them every single day. Even on the days you don't feel like it, even on the days you're tired, even on the days you think it's not working. Because it's always working. Change is slow until it's sudden. Growth is invisible until it's undeniable. The results you crave will appear when your actions have matured long enough to bear fruit. So ask yourself, if I were to meet my future self tomorrow, would they thank me or curse me? Would they hug me for putting in the work or resent me for putting it off? Because one day the two of you will meet. It might be in a healthy body, a thriving business, a fulfilling relationship, and a life you're proud of. Or it might be in a body that's breaking down, a bank account that's empty, and a life filled with what-ifs. That meeting is coming whether you like it or not. The only question is, what version of you will be standing there? Starting today, make decisions that your future self will thank you for. Take that small step. Make that call. Read that book. Save that money. Do that workout. Have that uncomfortable conversation. Build those skills. Say no to what drains you. Say yes to what grows you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. Because your future self doesn't need you to be a superhero. They just need you to show up every day, even in small ways, and keep moving forward. So I'll leave you with this challenge. Stop treating your future like it's someone else's problem. Too many people live like the version of themselves they'll be in 10 years is some stranger who will magically inherit a perfect life, perfect health, perfect mindset, and perfect opportunities, without realizing that the only person who can make that version real is the one living right now. Stop assuming that somehow, someway you'll get it together later. That later you're imagining? It's a mirage. It doesn't exist. Later never comes. Later is just the graveyard where dreams are buried, where ideas are forgotten, and where your potential goes to die. You don't want to wake up one day realizing that you left the best version of yourself stranded, waiting for a rescue that never came because you didn't act when it mattered. If you want a better future, you have to fight for it now. Not when it's convenient, not when you feel ready, not when life finally slows down. Now, this exact moment is the doorway between the life you have and the life you want. And every day you choose to walk past it without stepping through, you're making a choice. Even if you tell yourself you're waiting. Waiting is also a decision, and it's a decision that costs you more than you think. Your future self is out there. Stronger, wiser, calmer, more disciplined, more confident, more fulfilled. But they are not inevitable. They are not guaranteed. They are only possible if you do the work today to create them. And here's the part most people miss. Every action you take right now is either building them up or breaking them down. Every choice, every habit, every small decision is a vote for the kind of person you'll become. You might think the little things don't matter, but they're all you have. You don't just become someone great out of nowhere. You build them brick by brick, through what you do when no one's watching, through the choices you make when it would be easier to do nothing. When you skip that workout, you're not just missing a day. You're telling your future self, you're not worth the effort. When you procrastinate on that project, you're not just avoiding stress, you're handing your future self more weight to carry later. But when you push yourself, when you keep a promise to yourself, when you follow through even though you could quit, you are sending your future self a powerful message. I've got you. I'm building this for you. I will not let you down. That's what showing up really means. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about understanding that your future self doesn't need you to do everything. They just need you to do something today that moves you forward. They don't need you to leap a mile. They just need you to take the next step. That's how big transformations happen. Not through one giant decision, but through 1,000 small ones made with discipline, focus, and faith in the bigger picture. And make no mistake, there will be days when it feels like nothing is changing, when you feel like all this effort is pointless. Those days are the ones that matter most because those are the days most people quit. And when they quit, they never meet the version of themselves they could have been. But you're different. You're here because something inside you refuses to accept mediocrity. You feel that pull towards something greater, even if you can't fully explain it. That's your future self calling you. They're waiting, standing on the other side of the sacrifices you're willing to make now.